raise it up, why? Raise it up, raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up, hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up, raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. Raise it up, 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 raise it up.
Set it off in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shalom. No. Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann Vaughn. Did I say my names is? Hellos, hellos. And I said hellos. Okay. Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. I'm keeping all of that, by the way. Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann Vaughn. I also go by Y anytime you see me on the last Thursday of the month, because I was about to say love lounges again. Here's the thing. I do love lounges more often than I do the pod because they happen weekly. So I just get stuck. So starting for the 16th time, because it's a charm. Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann Vaughn. I also go by Y. And this is another intensely amazing episode of Raise It Up, Why, the podcast. We are coming at you the last Thursday of November 2023 in an episode we're calling hashtag Healthy Love. Love spelled like our love, Luv. This title comes from something that I've told Luv Culture. Luv Culture is all the listeners of this podcast, people who support the things that I do as Wyann Vaughn, the brand and everything. When people have seen me and my partner together, I've consistently told them, please, if you don't mind, resist the urge to hashtag him and me as Black love. Being Black and being in love has rarely ever been enough to keep a couple sanely, safely, and healthily together. All right. That might be a coincidence of two people who have done the work, that they're both Black and in love. However, when you see couples who have done the individual plus the couple work, they should be honored by getting a hashtag that more aptly describes their situation. And that, at least for TJ and me, my partner and me, is the hashtag healthy love. If you are new here, thank you for your non-refundable time and energy. A lot of what I just said would be a little foreign to you if you're new here. But don't worry, stick with us. We are a silly, fun podcast that 100% loves to raise people up. In fact, let me give you my little elevator pitch. Raise It Up Wise, where OGs kick game to real ones only. We do this using the hip hop culture from the West Coast to the world, giving you non-corny positivity. When we say we raise it up, we raise up your self-awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love, which is knowledge. Raise It Up Why, the podcast, is also home to what we've called Luv Culture. Luv Culture is a diverse bunch of amazing folks, I literally can say from all around the world now, who support not only this podcast, but everything that Wyann Vaughn, the brand, ends up doing. And I can tell you, being a part of Luv Culture does three things. One, roots itself by listening to this podcast, continues to get its rocket fuel so it can continue to go up. Number two, it does good for no good reason. We do good for no good reason in this culture of love that we've created. And number three, we are dedicated to looking at and treating red-blooded humans with love and respect. If you have red blood in your body, if you are a mammal that has the privilege and the health fortune of walking around on two legs comfortably around this world, then you are who we are talking to, all right? Love and respect, that's what we do, like left and right, love and respect. Thank you for spending your non-refundable time and energy with us when you're listening to this podcast today. If you're hearing this exactly on the day this is being put out, it is a week after what some would call celebration of the fall time called Thanksgiving. I know with this whole woke era, you say Thanksgiving and a bunch of people say and think a whole bunch of different things. I look at it as an opportunity and a time to be thankful, to be appreciative. However you want to look at it outside of that, that's your business, not mine. But this episode will air 1 week exactly after Thanksgiving. This episode usually comes out on Thanksgiving because it's usually about the last Thursday of the month. But that's not true. Thanksgiving is always the third Sunday, the third Thursday of the month. I have some brains. Don't you judge me. No, of course, my angels are here. My Susie Q, my Onette Zeleke are in the building at Cup of Sue, what it do, and at Onette_Ashe now, because I just remember her name is different. But yeah, shouts out to the whole crew. Boomer did it, and Dave for audio engineering is another piece. Those are two other pieces to this puzzle that we call the 13 Presents team and the Raise It Up Y team. Yeah. So as we get into this episode, like I said in the very beginning, hashtag healthy love is something that we're talking about very overtly on purpose as we're getting ready for another Love Lounge Live LA event coming up in February, right after your birthday. So we're looking at the 13th of February, which is a Love Tuesdays. Tickets will be on sale, all this fun stuff. As it comes, we'll let you know. But we're going to be focusing on our singles and pouring into our singles. This is something that Luv Culture has been talking about and asking for quite some time. So, as we've been learning about ourselves over the years through self-awareness, learning about the vibrations on which we frequent ourselves, as we took a whole year kind of to do with a certain amount of feeling words that we generally either talk about where love is concerned or that Luv Culture asked me to look at. We took a year to just kind of see where people resonate, what types of vibes people are currently and generally on. And then we even have taken a year to kind of get our love education down. The third thing that we raise up is your capacity for love, and your capacity for love expands as much as you know things. So the more you know about yourself, the more you're able to love yourself. Without the knowledge piece, love is unavailable as an option. All right. You cannot love what you don't know. The same way you can't speak thoughts you've never decided to have. Right. It got to be in you. Right. So when this healthy love topic ends up coming up, it's a huge topic. We could spend 1 year at the very least just in this podcast space on healthy love and different pieces that make that up. What I'm going to choose to do for this episode instead is a high why from one of our members of Luv Culture, as they put this in a Love Lounge discussion that we had on Instagram Live. We're going to do a break it down because, of course, this is still 50 years of hip hop. And every episode we have taken something from the hip hop space and given it shine or further dissection here on this podcast. And today will be no different. And our Wyann's words of wisdom will round us out in this episode. So without further ado, all of you who know me know that we are grounded. Whenever we come on this podcast, we start our episodes with grounding because, as a non-traditionally practicing therapist as I am, we want to separate whatever type of time you was on before you got here and create space for learning, loving, and living that you will do while you're here in this space. I'm thankful in advance for everyone's open minds and open hearts, for the folks that are adopting a learner's mindset while they're here in this space, and taking in some time to be intentional about being present is going to be a theme, I think. It's going to show up again in this conversation today. Well, it's less of a conversation, more of a lecture because it's a podcast. So in this lecture, love, just know that the idea of being present is so second to none. Let's get into this grounding, all right? If you are able to, I invite you to close your eyes. If you are operating a vehicle or any other apparatus where you're responsible for people's lives, I would like you not to close your eyes. But wherever you are, I want you to take a moment to be here with me. I want you to hear my voice and really feel your feet. Take your awareness down your body and set it in your feet. And just so you all know, when you're being present and you're kind of giving yourself space to be aware, when you bring your awareness to a space in your body, you can notice it, observe it, witness it. Doesn't mean that you shift and or move your feet. Notice maybe if you've been working all day, if you've been working out, if you've been running around, how your feet feel as a result of that. But your feet are what connect you to the earth, and they are essentially the thing that connects with the ground. So just bring awareness there. We have a tendency in this life to bulldoze our bodies and just go, 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 and never give ourselves time to just sit in our bodies. Sometimes we only look at our bodies to judge our bodies. So why don't you really today, if you've heard this speech before about put your awareness in your feet, wiggle your toes, if you've heard my grounding poem before, just today, truly bring your awareness to your feet. And to make sure you're actually in that part of your body, give your toes a wiggle. Wiggle your toes. Now rush your awareness up and through your body and come up and touch your nose. And that's just a very small way to recognize that from the bottom of you to the top, you are here. You're present. Breathe a breath in. Blow a breath out. Try that again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take a moment. Own this. This right here is a miracle that we call life. That you are breathing and you are winning just by living this life, just by spending this time with my voice right now. You've just invested into your betterment. And I want you to sit with that and feel proud. Let's go up. Let's go up, ladies and gents. All right. If you've never been in a love lounge, this podcast, because it's psychoeducational in nature, after being an educator for nearly 20 years, what I can tell you is if people aren't like on fire for learning, what I can tell you is when you tell them, oh, you're learning something, brains usually say, disconnect. Or I don't really feel like learning. I don't feel like being smart. I want to turn up. I want to have fun. Like fun brains learn. So when you want to learn something, especially when you don't really have a reason to be studious and educational, what I can guarantee you is if you make the learning environment hella fun, what will happen is it's almost the same principle of putting a spoonful of sugar in medicine. That's from Mary Poppins for all of you young people. Don't judge me. I'm not actually putting sugar in my fucking Tylenol. Like, truly, like, let's be honest. No, like, it's a metaphor. Put something sweet with the necessities of life, the things that don't feel like they're so great to do in life. Sometimes, the other day, I went to the gym at night. I was so tired. I was so fucking tired. And I just didn't, I went to the gym. I sat in the parking lot and I was like, where's the sugar? Like, what can I gift myself? So when I go in here and do the necessary thing, which is work this ass out. Hello. When I do the necessary thing, what's my sugar? What's the prize for me? And I realized I didn't want to listen. I was being too fucking smart. Like, truly, it's a long story, but I was like listening to a book or something like that. I was like, I want to listen to the Joe Budden podcast. I just want to like hang. I want this to be like the hangout moment sort of a thing. So I turned on the Joe Budden podcast. I went in there. I laughed my ass off by myself, by the way. It was like, I love going to the gym on like a Friday night or something like that. It could say things about my social life. Like I don't have one. No. That's totally untrue. I had a gig the next day, so I didn't want to be around people because I had to contain my voice. So I didn't want to be conversing with folks or talking and nothing like that. So shooting in the gym on a Friday night, tired, was not something I felt like doing. It was necessity, though, because working out is a commitment to myself. But the sugar was, okay, what do you want to listen to? Do you want to get some new, hip hop in, something that came out? I know. I feel like listening to Joe and laughing with the guys and Mel. So I put the podcast on, and my workouts are usually a little bit slower when I do those because if I'm working out to music, then I go more intense. I had just gotten my hair done. I couldn't sweat too good. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. Now I'm y'all in my fucking Friday night. But anyways, the idea is put you some sugar with some medicine. Put you a sweet thing in with something that you have to do, and you are more apt to do it. You're more likely to do it and get it done. All right, so check this out. If you're more likely to get something done in that way, love lounges are real life conversations that Luv Culture has with me about topics that we bring up here on this podcast, like a lecture, right? And we do love lounges mostly on IG Live now, ever since the other platform went away. So mostly on IG Live. I'm trying to get into Station Head. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get like my mojo into it. And we're still going to end up doing the YouTube lives. We did a couple of them. They were very successful. It's just a matter of finding the day, because Sundays have been, like today's a Sunday, and then we had the vision board and stuff last Sunday, and then we did the Sundays before, but it's just been, it's that time of year, yay. So in a love lounge, as we've been talking about the healthy looks at high value men, that's what came up this past week from some other conversation starters that we had from episode 62. These episodes of the pod are so dense with information and goodness that at any given point, you can pull out a 30-second clip and have a 3-hour love lounge from a 30-second clip. And we do this once a month, and we do love lounges weekly, for hours at a time. Even when we were on AMP, we would still go for hours, sort of a thing. So the point is, when conversation is good, when fellowship feels good, the learning is still the learning. We're a didactic space. We are a space that happens to be entertaining, but it also has the purpose of educating as well, edutainment. So when we're in love lounges, we get into these dope ass discussions. And this last one, we did a part 2 to high value men. There was a creator who is a doctor in the therapy space. Shouts out to Dr. Zeb at Zeb the Third on Instagram. We spoke about high value man, that term, high value men. And I brought him up. We talked about it. And one of the loves asked something in that conversation. This love and this high Y is where members of Luv Culture get to ask a question that I answer here on the pod. Von Sincere Martin, at Von Sincere Martin, one of our newer loves. He just came through around summertime this year. And he's been rocking with us heavy ever since. All right. Von Sincere Martin asks, because the high value man conversation got into relationships and what does that look like? What does a healthy man of high value end up looking like? And we were talking about guys and how they are able to shoot their shots today and what that looks like. So Von Sincere Martin asked this question, and I told him I would answer it here. If people are meant to be, and you shoot your shot, but it happens not to be the right time, his question is, can it work when it is the right time? For me personally, I look at the magic in life as timing. A lot of people who have faith backgrounds or religious backgrounds, they like to talk about things like being blessed, and they don't like to use words like lucky or luck. In a psychosocial space, people who perceive themselves as lucky report finding more advantageous opportunities occurring in their lives. They believe that they encounter dope shit in life because they're just lucky folks. So depending on how faith-based you want to look at this versus not, maybe in a social science perspective is how you might want to skew looking at this. I look at timing in life like the magic of life or like the lucky part of life. You, Onet, Susie, any person walking, you don't get to dictate to the divine, to the universe, to God, to Allah, to divinity, whoever you believe in, whatever you call that thing that is greater than all of us but includes all of us. You don't get to edit that entity. You don't get to edit time or timing. You can't say, oh, I don't feel like it being fall. It should be spring, and then expect outside to start raining and producing, budding flowers during the autumn time. Like, there's a certain magic called timing. And I bring that up because Von Sincere Martin is bringing up when you shoot your shot to someone. Could it work when it is the right time, even if when you've inquired about their hand or a relationship with them, love, when it's quote unquote not the right time? If people are meant to be, could it work? I'm looking at the timing piece of this first, and I want to say to Von Sincere Martin, in my humble opinion, timing is never in any human's control. Right time, wrong time, those are all divine things. Also, if people are meant to be, that makes me think of terms like soulmates. That makes me think of things like fate or destiny. If two people are destined to be together, and then that calls into question as an individual, do you believe in those things? Do you believe in fate? Do you believe in the destiny of people to say that I'm going to end up with such and such a person? I am meant for such and such a person. Mind you, there's no right or wrong. I don't want this to sound no way. There's no right or wrong in this. But everybody that's listening right now, take a little moment. Do you believe that you are destined to be with someone? And maybe someone, yes. But do you have in your mind already your spouse, your prospective spouse? Do you have in your mind already the person you believe you want to fall in love with? If you do, more power to you. If you don't, more power to you as well. What I'm getting at here is, if you know the individual that you want to be in love with, or if you don't know that person, deciding you want to be in love with someone has no bearings on whether you'll end up in a relationship with them. Because relationships, love, marriage to some extent, and I'll talk about it in a different episode, are all in some ways beyond one person's control. Especially relationship. Relationship is not in any one human's control. It's one of the reasons why I believe we're so slow to engaging in them. Humans like feeling like they have some sort of power or feeling like they have some sort of control over something. It's why in today's society, let me tell it, we value finances over love and family. Love and family are things that, of course, traditionally we're supposed to admire, respect, care about, like at the highest level, especially parents to children, especially because you know that child came out of you. Your DNA matches. There's a lot that you can't deny about that human. But when it comes to choosing a person, I said this 2 episodes ago now, is marriage the most expendable type of relationship that we have in today's society? And I only ask that because observably, it's what it seems like. It feels like if I have a choice to commitment, I'm always going to try to choose myself, whether it's for self-protection, whether it's because I haven't learned how to love someone else yet. And all these things are stuff that we're going to end up playing with in this episode. So I'm just dancing around these topics while I'm here at Von Sincere Martin's High Y. This is just a question with a lot of moving parts. If two people are meant to be, do you believe in fate? Do you believe in destiny? If they are meant to be, how would you know it? What indicates that to you? There's like so many questions that just that part gives me. But we continue. If you shoot your shot, how does the person know that you are shooting your shot? What if the shot that you're shooting doesn't look like a shot, so they miss it? What if you don't have the game you think you have? Mind you, Von Sincere Martin, I'm not talking about you. These are all proverbial, like universal yous. I'm not talking about Von Sincere Martin ain't got game. We're not doing that. We're not doing that today. But if you shoot your shot, that part has its own questions. And it's not the right time. The time part is where we get into divinity. What does not the right time mean? Does it mean that fate doesn't have it as the right time? Does it mean that somebody in the world is not looking at you the way you're looking at them? Does it mean that someone needs to mature and grow? They've just gotten out of a relationship. They need time to heal and might not be in a relationship mode right now. Like there's so many Questions. Can it work when it is the right time? Let's just focus there. I think everything works in its timing. Again, how you believe is how you believe, but I was raised Christian. I'm more spiritual than I am religious. And there's a new thing that I've been really seeing and identifying with. God is not an on-time God. He is an in-time God. He is an in-time God. On time assumes that you are the dictator of the timeline. So when God shows up, when you expect the being to, then of course it feels like it's right. Opposite day, when God is an end-time God, it means that he works when it's the best for the entire cosmos. You, the partner, when you have prospective children, where in the world all of the planets will be aligned, or where outside of the world in the universe, like there's the whole cosmos that's being taken care of when you look at something as in time versus on time. Can something work in its right time? All things work in their right times. All things. You can plant a seed that's supposed to be a fall springer upper. What do you call it? Like not perennial. Of course, Wendy's not here right now, but like a fall bloomer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because of the way that that soil is, where it's positioned in your backyard, the type of sod you have, whether you're watering at the right time of the day, where the sun is positioned, it might spring up in winter and not autumn. You know what I'm saying? Or you might find that you thought you had a lemon seed and it turns out it was a lime or a, tangelo or whatever the hell all these different citrus things are. Like, life is so perfect in and of itself to those who look at life like all things are happening well for them, right? Life is going to life, as the kids say. It's going to happen on its terms. That's why in Luv Culture, right here on the podcast, Raise It Up, why we often talk about, are you aligned to all that is love, positivity, good, kindness, gentleness, self-control, faithfulness? Like, are you aligned with all of the in-time types of vibrations? Because you can be misaligned, and then in your misalignment, you can miss your moments. Doesn't mean that you're not meant to be with a certain person. You might actually end up being with that individual, but it might not be at the moment or at the opportunity that you've found would have been the case. So again, I know it probably sounds like I spoke circles around this high why, and I feel dizzy because I probably did speak circles around this high why. But if people are meant to be, things will work when the time is right. If people are meant to be, more often than if people are meant to be, I personally think is, are you conducting yourself in such a way that you have already become the person, the thing, the role you're looking forward to being? Time is a construct. There is only now. There is only the present. I told you that word present was going to come up again. There's really only the present. Yesterday, today, tomorrow are things that man created to understand universal godly things. Man decided that if a sun comes up and goes down, that is called a day. We decided that. In reality, yesterday, today, and tomorrow is one continuum of life, as opposed to when man looks to break things up because of how we categorize information so we don't overload our brains. We look to make sense out of divine perfection that is way bigger than our understanding. And if you don't believe me, try to study quantum physics. Physics is applied mathematics, and I've been talking about math lately since I've been talking about love. That's so weird, but it's not weird. I know why. It's just it'll take too long because this episode is not about that. But applied mathematics in a quantum way will start to help you understand, if you can get your mind to start envisioning and understanding not just 1D, 2 dimensions, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional. One of our bioresonance doctors explained me to about 27 dimensions, and I was with him. My brain hurt. I'm brilliant. I'm really smart. My brain ached, and 27 was all I could do. But it's like, no. So, but what if this variable changed, then that, and then this, and then that? It's like, hey, yo, you got it, bro. You're a doctor. Like, you're the doctor. You got that. You got him. Timothy Ann. Shouts out to my homegirl Timothy Ann. But no, when you're in the quantum physics types of world, astrophysicism, and things like that, those big, like, make your brain go clock, 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 like it can fold and unfold in like 1,000 different ways. All of those things are man's way to try to understand something God just goes boop and does. You love flowers, botany, being a florist, being a farmer, learning the different, okay, well, these color schemes go with that, and then that doesn't do this, and you have to put this kind of a flower will actually bring and attract certain parasites that will hurt that flower. It can't go in this garden. It'll ruin the whole thing. That's us having to learn what's so natural somewhere in the world. Certain flowers are from Hawaii. Certain flowers are from Africa, wherever in Africa, the continent, right? Like, you can start to look and see how certain things pair with others. And if you aren't careful, you trying to play the, if you're the gardener, you're trying to play the god of your backyard or wherever your flower bed is. If you don't do all of your research, you can bring two things that don't mean to hurt one another together, and not the flowers themselves, but the bugs, the type of air, how much one sucks oxygen, or how one grows and overpower. Have you seen the one plant back there from Hawaii, the hibiscus one, and it's growing over the studio door? There's a whole set of plants, about 2 different other ones underneath it on the side. And just by that one plant's regular growth, it's huge. It takes up all the sun. Mm-hmm. It grows easily. It absorbs all the resources. And I think Wendy has planted a few other things next to it, because of how this plant naturally just grows. The other plants beneath it, one, they don't get the same access to light. They shrivel, they die. The hibiscus plant is not a bad plant. It's not mean. It didn't vote for the 44th or the 45th president. You get me? Like, people try to start to make people seem so bad or good. And it's like, certain plants grow easily in that environment. Certain others fight and struggle for their position. Imagine that hibiscus plant thought it was destined to date the plant that it's killing unintentionally. That's why this is so hard to answer, because it's like there's just so many variables. There's so many variables. But if and when it's right, you'll know it's right. Every person I know in a real good love said, "How did you know such and such was the one?" And their answer is always, "I just knew." There was a point where you just knew. Those are the types of in time, not on time answers that you only know once it's your reality too. All right? Von Sincere Martin, I gave you a lot to chew on. Much love to you and all of Luv Culture, forever and always. Rockets up on these hoes. Y'all know what it is. Break it down. Every episode this year, we've done a break it down. It's where we uncover the already existing genius in hip hop. Today is no different. Tupac Shakur, sir. Me and my team were looking at The Rose That Grew from Concrete. It's a poem that I've definitely, a poem. It's a poem book that I've already done some poetry out of. But as the girls and I were looking in here, we saw his poems for Jada. I'm just going to leave that there. This is not one of his poems for Jada. This is just another poem that I thought would usher us well into a dope conversation about presence, love, and healthy love, like the title of the episode. This poem is called Why Must You Be Unfaithful? And he dedicates this poem to all women. The actual thing that's written is the number 4 women. Men, all caps, exclamation point. You shouldn't listen to your selfish heart. It really doesn't have a brain. Besides keeping you alive, its existence is in vain. How could I be so mean and say your heart has no place? Because mortal men fall in love again as fast as they change their face. I may be cruel, but think a while about the hearts that you have broken. Match that with empty vows and broken promises you've spoken. I'm not saying females are perfect, because men, we know it's not true. But why must you be unfaithful if her heart is true to you? Oh, Mr. Pac, we love your words. Love always. This reminds me of a conversation I had with TJ Wilkins, my partner, earlier today. TJ and I have dealt with our bouts where faithfulness is concerned. And we both openly talk about the stumbling blocks that we've eventually hurdled in order to enjoy the years of love that we currently share. But when I was talking to him, we spoke about a moment where we experienced unfaithfulness in our relationship. And TJ spoke about something that I don't know that a lot of us speak about, which is, in his experience, he was taught from a bunch of men who looked like him. TJ is a black man. He was taught from a bunch of men who looked like him that when it comes to being with females, this is all assuming that we're loving in a heterosexual way, you never keep just one. A part of how you assessed your manliness was gauged through how many women you had on your roster, almost like a pimp, right? And this is something I've encountered in my personal dating life. This is something that I know a lot of people have encountered in the gay community. I have some friends who have been married for years, and they say, oh yeah, well, if it's 2 gentlemen who are married, if they're like, yeah, if you're married in gay years, if 1 year is like 7, 1 year is like 8 years, if you're faithful and still together, after all that time. I want to start the conversation. Maybe we'll use this part in a love lounge. I want to start the conversation asking men, where did you learn to become a man. What did it look like? Who were your teachers, your mentors in manhood? And how was that for you? I have friends of all backgrounds, one in particular from the Latino community who comes from a long line of successful, happy, till death do they part marriages. When that gentleman gets around other gentlemen who haven't been acculturated that way because they don't come from family histories of long lasting, till death do they part, successful, happy marriages, and he sees what other quote unquote men are doing to feel like men, he's reported feeling out of place. He's reported feeling like an outcast in quote unquote the man's club. And if you work in the music industry, and if you happen to deal with hip hop, R&B, but the music industry at large, but I know hip hop and R&B intimately, hip hop even more than R&B. And I can tell you, you're almost looked at weirdly if you have a desire to be distinctly and intentionally focused on one woman. I say this as a woman who has homeboys who are janitors, who work as janitors. I have homeboys who earn millions and billions of dollars. I see a wide array of men, ethnically diverse, socioeconomically diverse, which also indicates educationally diverse, and a bunch of other factors. And if you happen to come from the Black community, it seems like a lot of people have been taught that you assess your manliness by the amount, the number of, the quantity, not the quality, the quantity of women you can pull. While this is a break it down, because I listened to the Dear Mamas of a Pac and I listened to other songs that Pac has generally put forth to make us think about how we treat our women, the keep your head up, you know, the thing that the line that rap in the song Afeni that ended Eve with the PJ Morton young man. I wonder why we hate our women. Do we rape? I wonder why we rape our men. Do we take from women? Do we hate our women? So I feel unsure where this idea in the Black community especially has come from. But as TJ was speaking to me earlier, he said it was oftentimes a bunch of Black men who were not as close to me. And this is just his experience. So your lived experience can look different. And I would love to hear about it in the comments or in a love lounge. His experience was gentlemen further from him told him about making sure he never settled down too quickly, making sure that he didn't trust women so soon or so readily, and making sure that he kept his options open. That was a part of being a man in TJ's world. Faithfulness was almost likened to something like kryptonite or weakness in a weird way. And while I don't agree with that at all, I don't believe that at all, I'm also not a black man, and I've also never had this programming being taught to me since I was a kid. So I don't have a dog in this race. I'm really bringing this up more as a way for us to discuss this, especially as we get closer to the Love Lounge Live LA, where we will be focusing on how we have come to learn love and relationship and the possibilities for marriage. I guess I'm putting a lot more questions into the ethos than answers, especially where we're talking about men and I'm not a man and I don't speak for men. But I definitely look to speak to men. What I will say is from the Love Lounge Live that we did, from the Love Lounge we did on Instagram this past week, we did 2 different ones. They were on healthy looks at high value men. And I want to at least share those things here. For the majority of folks, we learned the term high value man from influencer, rest in heaven, Kevin Samuels. Saying that name even incites a lot of different feelings in a lot of different people. I look at him like an influencer who was a fashion consultant who ended up becoming more famous and viral for the fact that he would tell a bunch of people how to get the types of people they thought they wanted in relationship or marriage. He was not a therapist. He was not a relationship expert. He was not studied in these places. He didn't earn degrees, licensures, certificates, or anything in these places. He was a fashion consultant who built up his roster to the point where he would make clothes or style men, mostly who could afford a stylist. Most of the men listening probably don't have stylists or can't afford stylists. This is not a pocket watch. This is looking at the fact that 10% of the country makes over 6 figures? 10% of the country makes over 6 figures. I come from Los Angeles, California, and if you live here, $77,000 is low income. You're above poverty, but you're not in middle class with $77,000. These are the types of numbers and things that we're looking at in real life when we start talking about who has the type of disposable income for a fashion consultant. Probably not a lot of people, period. But the folks that he did see and folks that he was around were the ones that ended up telling him, yo, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of marriage-ready ladies out here. So for a long time, he spoke to men about how to get their acts together in order to be the type of dude who could even afford him and his services. He didn't go viral, though, until he started doing the exact same practices for women. I have a whole nother set of thoughts about that, but let's go back to the original intent. High value man. Because Kevin Samuels became such a polarizing figure, the term high value men, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with Kevin Samuels. The types of individuals that Kevin seemed to empower, enliven, or, I don't know, call to action were gentlemen who would like to call themselves what society calls alpha males. If you're listening and not on YouTube, you can't see my face. I personally abhor, I don't hate, I abhor the term alpha male. The same way when the Kings of Comedies first ever came out and they talked about the Cedric line, the Cedric joke, I'm a grown-ass man, dog. I'm a grown-ass man. All of the same men who used to say, I'm a grown-ass man because they needed, maybe they felt to say, hey, I'm a grown-ass man. Like, I couldn't see you were 37, homeboy. I'm a grown-ass man. People usually say things like that when they're behaving like a little-ass boy. And then they have to remind us who we're talking to, right? All right. But yeah, the alpha types of gents are the ones that Kevin Samuels seemed to enliven. I've unfortunately had some run-ins with them on social media. Some of my viral videos and things like that, they used to, when he was alive, tagged him in and come get this bitch and she's such a typical blah 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 blah. I'm like, who? Oh, these are his minions. Oh, once again, nothing wrong with Kevin Samuels. It's the weirdo, loser, low energy, small, introverted dick guys that he seemed to speak for and empower. The same ones that never tuned into any of his videos about when dudes were being told how to increase their manliness or increase the factors that make them a man. They only tuned in when he seemed to be, quote unquote, bashing women. Those guys are the ones. The term high value man makes some people cringe. And it just makes others confused because they don't know what it means and they don't know how to interpret it because they've heard so many negative things. We looked at high value masculinity in a healthy way. I want to give you guys the top 3 things that we spoke about this past Tuesday. And if you're subscribed to @Wyann on Instagram, then you can go back, look at the video. And I even in the comments of that particular video in my subscriptions wrote down 1 through 11 that we came up with from another creator at Sacred Thomas's thread. That's where I first saw the video. He did 11 traits of a healthy high value man. And I ended up prioritizing them and amending some of them. The top 3, though, were, in case, ladies, you're looking for a man of value in a healthy way. Number 1, the man will have a vision. He'll have a vision for his life. There will be purpose for where he's looking to take himself first. Then you, a family, a company, corporation, whatever, he'll have a vision for what his vibe is. That's number 1. Number 2, I think this was the most important thing to put next. He will have a base of friends, not just associates, not gang, not, you understand me? Friends, mature as shit, like adults have. Friends. If the guy says, yeah, I don't really need no friends, I don't think that's a healthy trait. I think that's an individual that doesn't feel like they should have to be accountable to anyone. Men that only have ladies as friends, that doesn't speak to a healthy sense of your masculinity. It feels like a running away from, an avoidance, a lack of parity, an inability to find gentlemen. Yeah, I know it's crazy out there. So a squadron of friends, men that will act like accountability partners to this individual. And if this individual loses his way, they are strong enough to be able to remind him who the fuck he is. As men, ladies, yes, we do this at times as well. Iron sharpens iron. Men need to affirm, modify, straighten the crowns of other men. All right? All right, cool. Number 3, and this is where a lot of the Kevin Samuels, especially the ones that were religious, and they were like, yeah, because a man is gonna this and that, and a religious, and the man, and all this fun shit. Your body will reflect what you think of yourself. By looking at your body, I can tell how consistent you are. I can tell what kinds of things you probably put in your system. Do you hold yourself accountable? Do you give yourself permission to evade accountability or responsibility? Are you more married to your excuses than your plan? Your body is your temple. And that's biblical. I say this for all the loves that were telling Sierra what to do with her dress at the top of the year. And some of these gents were shaped like Idaho potatoes, a sack of them, spilling over, shaketh, runneth down, plentiful for all. No, just like that. They were. Y'all can't see crazy on that right now, but no, they were shaped just like that. And hey, guess what? I'm not in my fighting shape. I'm not a little pinup doll like I used to be. Let me tell you something. But I know a man, and he ain't denied me. His name TJ. Even if he did, yeah, I am healthy. Healthy love, hashtag. Okay, thank you. Shouts out to Mavis. Yeah, I say that because this does not mean you're going to have washboard abs at 60, gents. I'm not looking for you to have your same 27-year-old figure when you're 43. That's some of this stuff is COVID weight. Some of this stuff is depression that we're not dealing with. Some of this stuff is the alcohol that you won't let go of. And I don't care how much you work out, there's going to be a layer of fatty tissue over those abs that we never will see because that fat molecule, or rather that ethol, the ether molecule, is going to continue to store itself as fat over your stomach in that area. Let's just call it what it is. We're grown. If you're in your 40s, in your late 30s, if you're in your 30s, you're about to catch. If you're in your 30s, you're about to understand this. Trust me. You got maybe a little bit of it at the end of your 20s. Oh, but join this party. Get up in this. That's why when you see somebody fine and they're young, they're supposed to be fine. You ain't skid your knee yet. You ain't done shit. You ain't had nothing wrong with you yet. You know what I mean? Like things that you couldn't deny. Like I'm talking about surgeries, not BBL surgeries, like a surgery to help save your life. Or you had an injury that you sustained while you were working and making a living for yourself, and you were trying to keep yourself together. You haven't dealt with it. It's not about, I work out every day. Honey, just wait when you pull that muscle and you realize your body does not heal like it did in your 20s and you're 36. Just wait. Just wait. Hey, life is undefeated. Life is undefeated. I don't have to argue with nobody young. Just get to my age and still look good. Still feel good. And even if you have a roll or two in a few places that you didn't anticipate, are you being as good to your body? High value man, are you being as good to your body as you possibly can? How you treat your body is going to tell me a lot. And I can see it before you open your mouth. Period. Those are top three. Again, the rest of the list there's 11 things. We had a whole discussion about it on live. At Wyanna, WYANNA on Instagram. In the subscriptions there, that's where those pieces of content are housed. I just wanted to give people a look at what healthy masculinity could look like. Having a vision, having accountability friend partners that are around the man, and a man who takes after and looks after his body, not in a vain way, not in an obsessive way, overcompensating way, just in a way that says, I balance my time such that I always leave room for me to do well for me. Those are the types of things that I'm talking about. One of the last things I wanted to say, because there's been a lot of spiritual talk in these conversations where the break it down is concerned, I also wanted to at least give a vision for marriage and a way that you could perceive how folks who are faithful in faithful love with themselves and then the person next to them, aka a partner, could look in something like a marriage. Why I said the vision part was important for men, and why I said that the accountability partners were really important for men, is because, ladies, without this gentleman having the divinity that he's accountable to and the friend group that he's accountable to, like men who are of stature and valor, if he doesn't see anything above him, he mistakes his ego for God. He mistakes himself for God. And they talk about, well, you need a man to introduce his woman to God, and you need a man to do this for Jesus. A lot of men are mistaking the role of husband for the role of father. You have women who have lived successful, well lives into their 20s and 30s and 40s that have amazing relationships with men, with God, who speaks to and uses them in his perfect plans as well. And you bringing them to God is not a part of God's plan as much as it is you managing as the head of a household what God blesses the two of you with. So if God is the helm or the overarching force that binds you to, if he's the center of y'all, you as the head of the home, you're the manager. God is the leader. You are the manager of that home. All right? When you bring a woman, especially in the covenant of marriage, when you bring her home with you, that woman is not your subordinate. She is your co-pilot. If you need her to be your subordinate, ladies, this is your invitation to run. You aren't beneath that man. You are beside that man. If anything ever goes wrong in that family, you need to be just as strong, submitted to him and his divine connection with whatever is above you too. But if he is not submitted to something as well, then both of you are just submitted to him. And I'm sorry, you dope, homeboy, but you not God. You like the phone case that got charge on it. So when the phone runs out, the charging case got a whole nother 100%. It's like, man, I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? But when that ego, when that part of you runs out, you are not the electricity running through the house. You are not the power cord that can plug into the car while you're on a long drive. You have to be, gentlemen, submitted to something more than yourselves, like God. Because, yes, your woman is supposed to submit to you. And ladies, we about to get into y'all on this week on Love Lounge. I hope, I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but we will be coming up in doing this week. Ladies, you definitely have to be submitted to your man as your man is submitted to you within the covenant of this thing that hopefully looks like marriage. Women, you are quality control. You have your own relationship with divinity so that you can stay aligned and get divine messaging in order to let your man know in appropriate times what the quality of his management, his head of state that's happening in the house. You need to let him know what that looks like. How does it feel? That's who you are. He's managing it, you're feeling it and letting him know, you know what, that was a bumpy ride. That was a rocky landing. That was a harsh start. Let's quality control this. You're not telling him what to do. You're just telling him what it feels like when he does it. Right? These are I'm just trying to give some, I was thinking about what are practical analogies or what are some ways that people can start to look at this stuff so there's not this ego and love. Because guess what? Right now, ain't nobody submitted to nobody. Everybody's going to church. Ain't nobody submitted to God. Talk about it. You go to church. You are not submitted to the wife of Jesus, which is the church. You are not submitted to their daddy, which is God. You are not submitted to your daddy. You are not submitted to much. Most people are only, that's even debatable, but most people are only submitted to their own egos. And I would even offer you that your ego is running your show. You're not submitted to anything. You're just not in control. Your ego is just running amok. That's why we always have to learn ourselves. We don't really have to learn our egos. We learn ourselves separate from our egos. If you're not taking the time to do the self-awareness work, listening to podcasts like mine, Raise It Up Why, coming to love lounges, having conversations with people who all are in love and safety, which is going to be the Wyann's Words of Wisdom, looking at safety and being around people who only want to see you do good for no good reason. If you're not in those situations, you're going to practice your lead, gentlemen, as manager and head of house. You're going to be practicing your lead on all of the ladies in your life. You're going to break a lot of hearts. You're going to ruin some relationships because you need to practice. You won't be swinging for the field out of the gate. You won't be swinging for the fences out of the gate. You're going to need to practice. You need to get in the weight room. And I think what love lounges are is like weight room and strength training. How strong are you for love? Are you ready for it? A lot of people just got a dick that gets hard and they just want to stick it in something soft. And that's good enough for them. Some ladies mistake their hearts for their heart-shaped boxes. They use sex like a hug. You meet somebody, you already in bed. And then you wondering, well, I don't know why he don't respect me or love me. Girl, knock it off. But we'll get into those things at a later date, ladies. Your time is coming. Your time is coming. I'm not saying that to be ominous or mean or anything like that, but we have a lot of talks on what the ladies can do and how the ladies can work on things. So right now it's just the gents' time, but I promise to run this message back in December with some ways that we can be holding ourselves up ways and in accountability. Gentlemen, I will be looking forward to some comments to the questions that I asked at the top of this Break It Down segment. Looking at things like, where did you learn your masculinity? Who taught you? What did those mentors and teachers look like? And how was that process for you? I think those were the three things I asked. Wyann's Words of Wisdom. Wyann's Words of Wisdom. Security, safety, and trust sponsor love and intimacy. Security, safety, and trust sponsor love and intimacy. The word sponsor, if you look it up, means provides funds for. If you don't know, funds is money. Money is currency. Currency is the representation of manifested energies. Shouts out to Andre Mego, runs the Bitcoin Academy for Jack Dorsey and Jay-Z out in Brooklyn. And I love something he said in a financial literacy video as an educator in that space. He said, you know, what's the history of money? Like, where does money come from? Back in the smack of the day, where economics was concerned, we would barter. Okay, you're the shoe guy and I'm the baker guy. So you fix my shoes and I'll provide you bread for this amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way that we do. Well, what happens when the shoemaker marries a baker into the family? Now they don't need your bread anymore, but they still need their shoes and they do like the way you do it. What's another way that you all can exchange those same sorts of fair marketplace value services, we make money. Money is born. Money, therefore, is a manifestation, a representation of energy. You're not utilizing the energy to barter a service for a service, a good for a good. When a person has all their goods and has all their services and they don't need that, but they still need to be compensated if they're going to provide you something, then you give them money. That's energy represented. And a sponsor is a way that you provide energy into something else. All right, cool. Let's look at the Wyann's words of wisdom again. Security, safety, and trust sponsor love and intimacy. Another way to say that is security, safety, and trust provide the energy for love and intimacy to happen. What is love? An intense feeling of deep affection. That's the dictionary definition. We know it's so much more than that. It's damn near non-definable. What is intimacy? Close familiarity. The synonym for intimacy is closeness. So, differently stated, love and intimacy are energized by security, feeling safe, and having trust, having a closeness, having a deep affection for something, and closeness can happen when security, safety, and trust are provided. Enter TJ's conversation once again from earlier today. We spoke about, like we were talking about in the Break It Down, unfaithfulness, and where he as a man learned to be unfaithful or to have a bunch of women on him because that's what's supposed to make him a man. As a lot of black men I've learned get taught in the community as they become a man. TJ, when he was really, really young, always loved to share his spotlight. He loved to be in relationship with classmates, friends, family members, people. So he would always try to make up group work or make up activities that they all could do. Or if he was going to have the lead in a play at school and he wanted one of his friends to also be in the play with them, he would barter and work hard to get one of his friends an opportunity to also appear in the play with himself. Problem. TJ really wanted to be there, so he worked his tail off to get the position. When he bartered and made ways for other people and they get in position, well, they didn't work for it as hard. They didn't need it as much. And therefore, they would either drop out, never get it done, or if they did it, they would half-ass it. And as a result, TJ learned to stop trusting relationship. We all know this from doing group projects in school. You get the slackers in the group. You get people who don't show up, don't follow the rules, don't do the deadlines, don't have their parts of the paper in. And what happens? The few heads of the class put their brains together and they pull a miracle out of their asses in the final hours. And somebody ends up getting stuck with all the work. I've been that person for some groups. I know some of y'all have been those people. When group dynamics, team dynamics, relationship dynamics break down like that, you learn not to trust people. You don't trust people at their words. Don't be in the music industry and trust that somebody gonna have a meeting with you. It's not like you asking a motherfucker for money or a feature or anything. Just asking them to keep their words. You would think that you was twisting their arms. Just saying. This is why I talked about that accountability squad for healthy, high value men, having those people that will hold you to your word. And when you don't do it, they say, hey, bro, what the fuck was that? Didn't you say you was going ... Those are the types of things that having consistency, having discipline end up teaching you. Not only that, when you feel like a person will be inconsistent, you don't realize that another feature to inconsistency when you deal with someone is a feeling of insecurity or a lack of safetyness. A lack of safety or insecurity comes in forms like this. Your alcoholic dad comes home and you haven't done your homework. And one day he's so out of it that he just says, go to your room. I just can't with you. You're not, I just can't believe that you're my kid. I'm so disappointed. Another day he's raging. He takes a bottle and throws it against a wall, and you remember feeling really, really scared. For the same action, by the way, not doing your homework. On a third or a fourth day, you get two other reactions. He might become violent in some way, shape, or form. He might have a yelling fit in another day. The inconsistency with which he responds to your one same action, not doing your homework, can tell you, I have no amount of safety when I come home and don't know what kind of state my dad is going to be in. If he's a raging drunk, if he happens to have not drunk that day and he just sits me down and has a man-to-man kind of talk with me if you're a son, or has a father-daughter talk with me if he's your father and you're a woman. Like, these are the types of things that come up. So when you get in a relationship with someone else intimately, and this person sometimes calls you back, they sometimes text you, good morning. They sometimes show up for the dates that you've created with them. What their inconsistency is breeding in you is a sense of inconsistency. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. It's inconsistent because you just don't, it can't be predicted. But the feelings attached to that are insecurity, the opposite of feeling secure. And a synonym for secure is safe. We said this a couple episodes ago. Safety is a prerequisite for the capability of love. You need to feel safe. You need to be able to feel the ground under your feet when you start the thing called love. Without that predictability, that like clockwork reaction from certain people that are close to you, especially where romance is concerned or partnering well is concerned. When you're unsure about who and how a person is, you don't have the capability. The sponsorship is gone. You don't have the capability to have the love and the intimacy that is healthy. So far as healthy love, like this title of this episode is called, you don't have the option for healthy love if the people with whom you think you're trying to love consistently show up inconsistently. Whenever you see them, you don't know if they're going to be up or down. You don't know if they're going to be drunk or high or sober. You don't know if they're going to be a crying fit, or if they can take your feedback in an adult conversation way and not crumble every time you have an opinion about something they're doing. We as a society, I believe, have become a touchy-feely one. Sensitive. When I say touchy and feely, words can shake people today like I only used to see physical activity do back in my day, right? If somebody was going to beat you up at lunch, I could see you not wanting to come to that area of the playground. However, without the threat of physical violence, if somebody just called you a name, you probably were able to go wherever you were going to go at the school that day. Today, I'm very, very happy that emotional intelligence is more in the discussion, even in scholastic spaces, so that if you hurt someone with their feelings and their emotions, something gets done before it gets to the physical side. That's good. Here's where it can backfire. You can become so sensitive to feedback, to criticism, even healthy or constructive criticism. I think healthy criticism, I want to reword that and say feedback. You become so sensitive to feedback that if someone responds to you or says something to you that you don't 100% think is them agreeing with you, you think a conflict is afoot, I meant to say, is at play or afoot. And it's not. Healthy discourse is great for healthy love. Communication between two people shouldn't feel like echoes. I feel this way. Oh, I feel this way too. Well, I think we should. Well, I think we should also. No, you know what? I'm feeling like going left. You know what, baby? I want to go right. I want to go right. We should go left. But going right, and you give your reasons. I want to go left because you give your reasons. Both of you might say, you know what, fuck it, let's just go straight. Let's just stay in the middle. That's a healthy conversation. And today, I want to go left. I want to go right. Oh my gosh, you hurt me. You don't agree exactly with me. You think I'm wrong because I want to go left. No, I just think you're going in a direction that I don't think I'm going. Well, that's crazy because now you sound like a insert some name here. You need to know that you can be yourself and that be okay. However that means you feel, however that means you look, however that means, if you are not hurting yourself or other people, I need you to know that in your relationships, your healthy love relationships, you can be the fullest version of yourself and that still be okay. We talked about in the episode 12, that's a lie, episode 25, what about your friends, December 2020 episode, the Wyann's Words of Wisdom. Your best friend is the person with whom you can experience the widest array of emotions and still know that you're safe. Your best friend, whether you realize it or not, is the person with whom you can experience the widest range of emotions and still know that you're seen as worthy and okay. In today's society, it seems like if a person in a relationship has a different thought process, a different opinion about where the money should be spent, a different amount of money, vastly different amount of money, a different educational. Don't get me wrong. I know that differences can make things harder to have a smooth relationship with, but it's not catastrophic. It's a conversation. And when you're in a getting to know someone phase, it makes me think about Von Sincere Martin's conversation, the high why that we did. The wrong or the right time for some people might be, oh, well, you know what? They don't agree with me yet. Let me just wait until she comes to her senses. Let me wait until he gets his money up. Then I'll be able to. That's not a right timing thing. Does a person show up the exact same way every time you see them? It doesn't mean that they never change their moods or they don't feel emotions. Does the person they say they are match with who you see they are? Does the individual respect folks in their lives, from the server and the wait staff to the CEO, from their parents, whether they have an amazing or horrible relationship with their parents, all the way down to their neighbors' kids? Do they show up as a consistent individual? Taking time to observe that in another person is imperative, which means you shouldn't probably be looking to hop in the sack with this motherfucker before you've even determined whether they kick their dog when they get home or not. I just think looking before you leap leads to the type of relationship you want to experience in this life, where today we have a tendency to feel and then behave or react or respond. I need my loves listening to slow down. I don't know why I feel like some people will take that as judgment, just me saying that. And it's not at all. I think people need to look at their own thoughts about love. Look at relationships they possess that they love and ones that they want to improve in their own lives, not some prospective lover. In your own life, look where that could improve for you. Carry that energy in every relationship that you're involved with. Start resonating where you're attracting the thing that you're emitting. Being present. Told you present would come back up. Being present means showing up in the day, in the moment, in the argument, in the lovemaking session, in the classroom, in the listening of the Raise It Up Why podcast moment. It means showing up fully. Taking a moment to do nothing else. Sit, like some of my students have told me, your happy ass down and just be with yourself. Not serial dating, not serial monogamy, not serial fucking Frosted Flakes. Just you, nigga, like you. Just being. Get a pen and pad. Spend some time with you. Go sit on the bike at the gym. Spend some time with you. Go take a walk on the beach, hike. Spend some time with you. Just you. You are alone and you say, this loneliness doesn't make me happy. I need a person. Wrong. If you are alone and you say, I feel lonely while I'm by myself, I need you to look and see, well, what makes me feel fulfilled even when I'm by myself? Is it going to the movies? Is it cooking myself a meal? Is it taking a cooking class? Is it going to the gym, finding a fitness class to belong to, a yoga studio to belong to? I'm not trying to do this, but I won't say his name. But one of my homeboys, he knows who it is when he hears this. One of my homeboys, and I was talking about the fact that I'm like, I don't know where the dudes is at in my hot yoga class. These are some beautiful women. Let me tell you something. Some gay, cute dudes too, but there's almost no heterosexual men. And if there are, not one is black that I've been to so far. I'm only speaking from my experience. And I'll go by the beach, so maybe they're just not that way. You know, maybe if it was in Inglewood or Compton, who knows? But I be looking at these beautiful ladies and I'm like, really? None of the homies want to come to do yoga with me? No, I don't really fuck with that yoga. But you do fuck with learning new people and trying to get like to know these beautiful girls. Like you tell me that every conversation. So I don't know. It's like sometimes people want something, but they're not willing to do the work to get the something. Like, I want the body. I don't want to do the work to get the body. I'll get the BBL. They have yet to make a BBL relationship pill. There's no BBL relationship pill. There's no BBL love pill. There's no BBL marriage pill. But people are wanting results more and more today without having to do the work. They're wanting to skip the work. And I'm just here to tell you, from my therapeutic training and my non-traditional practicing in this therapeutic space, mixed with a lot of hip hop, there's no excuse for the work. You got to go to know. The only way to it is through it. And good luck. Good luck on those travels, because you're so worth it going on the other side. Before I go, I don't know why I touched my breast. I did. I'm sorry, y'all. If you're listening, that did nothing for you. But for people, listen, Linda. Number one, as always, I love the do more than you knew. At ILOVETHEDOUX, at I love the do. By the time you hear this, the sales for Black Friday might have already been done, but please make sure that you are tapped into thedo.com, THEDOUX.com. My cousin Maya Smith has been putting up some amazing sales, bundles, sales, and things for the holidays, where her amazing products are concerned. You see they done grew my hair out, and while I'm touching on this pretty ass hair, if you're on YouTube, you see the vibes. At Hair by Quista, HAIRBYQUISTA, at Hair by Quista. I don't know. I don't know. Can you tell the little red, the little brown red? Yeah, is she there? So yes, I decided to go red for the end of the season, the end of the year, and I got a little redhead in her. Holler if you hear that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Aries-ness is taking its course. We did vision boards. You'll see that on the 13th episode of this year, the 65th episode coming up. I only do it on YouTube, and you'll see my vision board. And listen, I'm in this red space, and I think that just means it's like go time for what I am. You know what I'm saying? My favorite things. Jim Carrey said, it takes as much energy to go for your plan B as it does your plan A. So what are you waiting for? The same 24 hours, the same effort, the same vitality that you need to secure the thing you kind of want. It's going to take the same shit to get the thing that you actually want. So why are we so scared to get what we actually want? I know we're in the pay your dues. My bad, y'all. But those are the kinds of things that why, like the redhead, and this is the last day of it looking cute. I just got this hair done, like I said, on Friday, ooh, that's a lie. I got it on Thursday, didn't I? Did I go work out on Thursday too? Yoga. I did the yoga, but so Friday was the day I did the basketball, and then before the show yesterday, I did Pilates. Hey, Pilates can kiss my black ass. How about that? Can we talk about it? Pilates. Why? What the fuck did I do? What did I do to you? my Nigerian little lady on YouTube that's showing me how to do all this stuff, I'll be looking at her like, do you not like black people? Like, why are you this way? Like my shit is burning as I'm sitting here with all of us. Yeah. So, I told Terrace Martin about all this. For the rest of the pay your dues, I'm going to shout out Wava Life again because it's my baby brother. This is the time for family. So at WAVALIFE at Wava Life, my baby brother Warren Vaughn created such an amazing product, probiotics, drinks, and other things. Oh no, you don't know I was going to say, this is an actor and someone else that goes to his Calabasas. No. Porter Ranch location. He has a Porter Ranch location now, and there's a famous couple, DeAndre and Sally Richardson. And if you all know the movie Low Down Dirty Shame, Sally Richardson is Keenan Ivory Wayans' love interest in that. And DeAndre is like a best-selling author, and he in the industry, he helps keep black couples together. Like, it's just his thing. It's this. So Shanice and Flex said that we have to go sit with them. And TJ and I, you talk about these couples, right? These power couples. Shanice and Flex been through everything in this industry. They're like, you guys have to come sit with us to do like, not just marriage counseling, but just like the things that general marriage counseling can't show you, like surviving this industry as a couple. And just shit that goes on with it. Mind you, I'm bred by my mom and dad, so I know this stuff is not just cut and paste, right? So DeAndre and Sally, and Sally, my cousin and my cousins, Shanice and Flex, the producers of 44 Obama Musical, Eli Bauman and his wife Joanna, they're both writers. He used to write for Saturday Night Live, the one that wrote TJ's play. He wrote for Saturday Night Live. She writes for a show that's filming in Chicago. So like right now, Eli, the guy, he had to take care of his family, their 2 kids, still here in LA while doing everything with the Obama show. She's on set for weeks and months at a time over in Chicago for this TV show that she writes for. The Bear, it's called. Do you know something called The Bear? I don't watch TV, so I don't know. But something like that. Don't quote me, loves. But the idea is happily married with a 2 and a 5-year-old. These are just some rambunctious ages. And one is pursuing the dream here in Los Angeles. One is in her field over there. You leave something like Saturday Night Live to trust and bet on yourself. So financially, I don't care who you are, that's a dip. Like, there's just so much, like, when we talk about love and relationship and marriage, now add music industry to that. This shit gets weird so fast. I just need you guys to know. So looking at some power couples and just knowing who to have conversation with and, you know, keep it smart, keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? Luv Culture. I'm always going to shout you guys out from now on. I'm so thankful for the loves that rock with this podcast, rock with the Love Lounges, and merch run coming December 13th. You all are the reason that the lights stay on in this beautiful kitchen. So we can keep doing and creating content for you guys. There's just nothing like it, nothing like you guys. Last but never least, at Raise It Up Y across everything, at RAISEITUPWY on all socials, all loves, say rockets up on these hoes. Dates, just passed. What did we just do yesterday? The ending of Obama Musical. And then we just had the Ontario show, so that we're taping this the day after. These lashes were on stage with me right after the dramatics. Because I was too tired to take the lashes off, okay? I'm not fucking with nobody. I'm not. When these lashes come off tonight, I'm not going to wear makeup for a fucking week, I pray. I just don't even want, just off with its head. You know what I'm saying? Like, And I'm just getting right back in the sauna. This is sauna hair right back tomorrow. And I look how pretty this is. Oh, well, sauna hair. Hello, because I'm out here, Because I want it. I want it. I'm consistent. I'm on it. And my hair was one of my biggest excuses. I didn't wanna get it like wet. And now I'm like, man, fuck that. I want to unbig my back. Shout out to my homegirl, Crystal, who I heard say that. She said that. She was like, dear God, I just need you to unbig my back. I said, hey, yo. So, at Raise It Up Y for everything. Patreon, I'm going to exclusive give y'all a recap about yesterday's show. It's going to be a Patreon exclusive episode because I'm just going to recap the show of yesterday. I might put a clip in just so you can see, but that's all I'm going to say about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys. I'm so thankful to spend these holidays and village days, as Terrence Martin would call it sometimes, with y'all. There's new music that'll be coming. I can't say yet because I don't think it's been officially announced at the time that I'm taping, but just be looking at Raise It Up Y, RAISEITUPWY for all of your updates. Couple dates, December 13, new merch run goes on sale. If you are a subscriber, check your DMs and emails. You will be or check the posts if you're on Wyann on Insta. You will be getting notifications about when you can purchase some merch. I don't know why I always want to say that. Before everybody else. And then, by December 13, it'll be open to everybody. And then February 13, man, that's the next Love Lounge Live LA. It is a Love Tuesday. Make no mistake, it is a Tuesday. So get on top of it now. Start making your way all west with the best. Me, Ned, and Susie. Okay, I'm done. I love y'all. Stay real, y'all. Boom, clap. Hey. I'm so silly. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up.